And that takes us into this weekend, Elimination Chamber at the Rogers Center in Toronto, where things will become a lot clearer as WrestleMania directions go. We already know Jey Uso is challenging Gunther and Charlotte Flair is challenging Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania. But after this, all of the key championship matches will be set. So let's run through the card and give some predictions. It's a 4-match card, plus Cody Rhodes gives his answer to The Rock. Will he surrender his soul? Will he sell his soul to the final boss? I'm going to say no. And The Rock will find himself a different corporate champion by WrestleMania. I don't know that they would shoot the angle on this show where, let's say, by the end of the chamber match, somebody goes heel and Rock has his guy and it's not Cody. I almost feel like they would want to save that as like a shocking moment in the main event of WrestleMania. So I don't know exactly what else is going to happen in this segment other than Cody saying yes or no, yay or nay. But I do think his answer will be no. We have the Women's Elimination Chamber match with the winner challenging Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania for the Women's World Championship with Liv Morgan, who is very familiar with Rhea Ripley, Alexa Bliss, Bayley, Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Roxanne Perez competing in her very first chamber. This is a tough one because I think it's Liv or Bianca. And I've gone back and forth here. And Bianca is more my personal pick. I would love to see a Rhea-Bianca match at WrestleMania. But so much of this comes down to what happens in that tag team title match on Monday night when Bianca and Naomi defend their titles against Liv and Raquel. Naomi is not winning this. Okay, neither is Roxanne, who I think might be wrestling Bayley at WrestleMania. So if so, they would cancel each other out. Alexa was just moved to SmackDown, so her challenging for a Raw championship doesn't really even make sense. So that leaves Bianca Belair and Liv Morgan. I'm going to go with Liv Morgan to win the chamber, but with a little star next to it, depending on what happens tomorrow night. If Liv and Raquel win the tag team titles, then I think Bianca wins. Otherwise, I'm going with Liv Morgan. I think the title match between Rhea Ripley and Io Sky on next week's Raw ends without a winner. And maybe Liv and Raquel get involved. We end up with a triple threat match at WrestleMania. It's going to be Rhea Ripley defending her title against Liv Morgan and Io Sky. We have Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus taking on Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. And I don't see this as anything other than Trish and Tiffany getting the win in Toronto. Trish gets the fall on Candice as a way to protect Nia because she's going to have one more title match on TV with Tiffany. We still got time between now and WrestleMania. And Nia's still talking like, I'm going to take that title from you. So we're going to get another championship match on TV at some point soon between them. I don't see Nia, even if her team loses, taking the losing fall. Her match with Tiffany last week for the title ended on a DQ. But I think the baby faces go over here. I think Trish in Toronto getting the win makes sense. Sami Zayn takes on Kevin Owens in an unsanctioned match. A lot of history between these two. You don't need me to tell you that. This taking place in Canada, it feels very appropriate. The only question is this unsanctioned because we're going to have a proper match between them at WrestleMania, or is this happening now to pave the way for the return of Randy Orton? Owens and Orton go off and do their thing. Sami Zayn ends up, working with Karrion Kross because Karrion Kross is still cutting promos on him and calling him out. They're going to have a match at some point. I just don't know if that's going to be a television match or if that's going to be a WrestleMania match as a way to try to heat up Karrion Kross. So we'll find out what they do here, I think, because I'm looking at this and thinking this is the perfect place and the time for a Randy Orton return. And it's unsanctioned, so anything goes. And if Randy Orton wants to drop Kevin Owens with an RKO, if he wants to punt kick him into oblivion, if he wants to hit a pile driver on him the way that Owens did to Randy, he can do it. And it's all legal because it's unsanctioned. I'm going with Sami Zayn to get the win with an assist from a returning Randy Orton. I think it might even be a case where I don't think that if Orton gets involved and attacks Kevin Owens, it's going to get him heat just because they're in Canada and people are going to love Kevin Owens. But I think, one way to try to avoid anything like that happening, because I said that back in November because Cody and KO were not at Survivor Series. and Survivor Series was in Canada. And I'm like, I wonder if they are not doing the match on that show because they may be worried that in a match in Canada between Cody and KO, Owens might get more cheers or Cody might get some boos, right? I wonder if that was the logic behind holding off on like a proper match until Saturday night's main event. But if you want to avoid any risk of that, not that I think there is much, but you have him save Sami from a package pile driver. Owens is about to murder Sami Zayn. He's about to drop him on his head, maybe on the announce desk or something with a package pile driver. Here comes Randy Orton to save the day. Big pop. Gets his revenge, or a measure of revenge. Sami wins. Orton and KO, they go off to continue their story, and they have a match at WrestleMania. And in the men's Elimination Chamber match for a shot at Cody Rhodes and his soul and the WWE Championship at WrestleMania, we have John Cena, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, Damian Priest, and Logan Paul. Like the women's match, I'm torn between two names. I'm torn between John Cena and CM Punk. Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre, they are likely going to end up having that match at WrestleMania. I don't know that they're going to deviate from that plan. There's history between them going back to last year's WrestleMania. Priest eliminated McIntyre. Priest is still insulting McIntyre in some of his promos, like calling him a crybaby and stuff. Like, that's going to come back around on him. So I think that those two are going to Mania, so they'll kind of cancel each other out here. You know, I was thinking when I was going back and forth, like, if it's not Cena who wins, right? You have Logan Paul eliminate John Cena after Cena eliminated him at the Rumble, and we get that over-exaggerated expression on John Cena's face of shock and dismay and, oh my God, what am I going to do? That's it, number 17, down the toilet. And I could envision a final two of CM Punk, who was actually dumped out of the Rumble by Logan, and this time it's Punk who puts Logan down. That's kind of what I was starting to think before. But I keep coming back to this damn favor. It's like I said before, if Punk has that favor from Paul Heyman, I don't know what else it would be if not him using it to get a main event spot at WrestleMania or get a shot at the championship at some point. And if he wins the chamber and he gets that on his own, I feel like it basically negates the need for the favor. So Cena could win. Punk could get Heyman to use whatever influence he has with The Rock, him being so close to the family and all, to get Rock to add CM Punk to the match at WrestleMania to make it a three-way. That's how he gets in. He doesn't win the chamber to get in, but Punk cashes in that favor. He gets added to the match. And if Punk is going heel, you do the turn there. And you keep the fans guessing. Who's going to the dark side? Right? By the time that match is over, is it John Cena? Is it CM Punk? Or maybe it's Cody. And then boom, it's CM Punk. And it's WrestleMania 17 all over again. Like, it's fun to think about and play out all the different scenarios. I'm going with John Cena. He was my original pick after he lost the Royal Rumble. I'm going to stick with that. I think John Cena wins the Elimination Chamber. And then I think Punk uses the favor from Heyman to work his way into things. Desperate times call for desperate measures.